It really boils down to two completely different ways of looking at how salvation works.
So, on one side you have the perseverance of the saints, which is usually associated with Calvinism. This view says that God's power is so absolute that he preserves every single person who is truly saved. So, if someone seems to fall away, it's proof they were never a genuine believer to begin with. Then, on the other side, you have conditional security, linked to Arminianism. This view says that because faith is a free will choice, a genuine believer has to have the freedom to later choose to reject that faith and walk away. One view emphasizes God's sovereign power to keep his people, while the other emphasizes the need for human free will for a relationship to be real.
Now, you would think, right, if it was actually possible for a true believer to lose their salvation, the Bible would have to warn us about it. Well, the argument is that it does, and not just in a few vague verses, but in entire passages that are screaming at believers to persevere.
Let's start with what our source calls maybe the single toughest passage for the eternal security position. It's from the book of Hebrews, chapter 6. The author is describing people who've had these incredibly deep spiritual experiences, and then says it's possible for them to fall away.
I mean, just look at the language used here. These are people who have been enlightened, who have tasted the heavenly gift, and, get this, have shared in the Holy Spirit. The argument is pretty simple. If that language doesn't describe a real Christian, then what language possibly could?
And then we can jump over to Galatians. The Apostle Paul warns believers, actual believers, that by turning back to the old law, they can be severed from Christ and have fallen away from grace. The logic here is just so powerful and straightforward. You cannot fall from a place you have never been standing.